Want to learn how we generated $100,000 in 60 minutes? Listen, when you clicked on this video, you probably thought it was going to be some kind of clickbait. Stick around till the end and you'll realize it's actually not. I'm going to break down the exact step-by-step system we use to make $100,000 in just 60 minutes.
Don't lose your faith, keep it straight. I'm nothing like any other.
Listen, I need to be completely honest with you, because if you would have told me 5 years ago that I would be telling you right now how I made $100,000 in 12 months, never mind 60 minutes, I would have thought you were kidding. That number to me just seemed so high and unachievable and crazy. And so to even be sitting here telling you that I've been able to achieve it, I just want, if you're sitting there kind of feeling the same way that it's so unattainable, I want you to realize I was exactly there with you. But I really made the decision that whenever I figured out what worked, I was going to bring you behind the scenes and show my whole formula. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing in this video. And so I'm going to break down the exact step-by-step that I did to make $100,000 in just 60 minutes. Now, I just want to clarify something. It wasn't this overnight success, right? It wasn't waking up me saying, today I want to make $100,000 in 60 minutes. That 60 minutes was actually way longer than that when you think about the planning, the prep, all of the things that went into it. Yes, the cash came in within 60 minutes once we kind of turned everything on and hit launch. But there was a lot of work that went into the kind of behind the scenes of this, and that's what I really want to share with you in this video. So if you're looking to get a big cash injection in your business, one of the things you can do is launch. Now, that's a no-brainer, right? You're gonna have to launch a business. No, what I mean is launching is kind of whether you're brand new to business or you're just relaunching something over and over and over again. A launch is basically a period of enrollment or sales in your business. And entrepreneurs typically do this online if they want to have a big cash injection. So it might look like putting a sale on for 24 hours. It might look like opening enrollment for 2 weeks and offering a specific bonus. It might look like opening your program for 1 month only, and the minute you sell at the spots, you close it again for another 6 months. Launching can look completely different to every single entrepreneur, and I'm gonna get really meta with you in this video because basically I've been launching things online for a really, really long time. Way back when I had my supplement company, I didn't even know what a launch was. I thought you just launched a business and that was that. And I learned a lot about that world back then. And also I was helping so many clients with their social media and their other online businesses that I've seen so many different launches across so many different industries. And I've been doing it for myself for a really long time. So we made multiple 7 figures through doing online launches. And I kept getting so many messages from people saying, how are you doing this? Show me, I want to learn. So I created an online course of how to launch your business successfully. It's called Online Launch School. And so what I'm actually going to share with you is how I launched my launch course. I know, sounds ridiculous, but hopefully this will really help demonstrate my point. So when you are gearing up to get a big cash injection in your business, you're gearing up to a launch, it really starts way before you hit the green light, way before you hit launch. It starts with building a launch audience. Now, this is the number one thing people get wrong, and it's probably the number one reason you aren't hitting your launch goals is because you haven't built enough of a launch audience. You cannot just wake up one day, well, if you, as long as you know, if you have a big audience, maybe you can, but you can't just wake up one day and think, I'm going to launch something today, right? It takes build up. And even, I do have a big audience online, and for me, it still takes a big build up. I don't just wake up and launch something. I put a lot of time, thought, and effort into anything that I'm launching, and I make sure I'm really prepared ahead of time. So what you want to do when you're thinking about launching something is first thinking about building a launch audience. So a launch audience isn't just, 100 followers on social media or people on your email list. It's people who signal to you that they are interested in the thing you're going to launch. So let's use my online launch school as an example, right? So it's a 12-week program to help people launch their online business. So whenever I'm trying to build a launch audience, I think of my product and I think about how I can create a free version of that product so that I know any person that signs up for the freebie, the free version of it, is going to be interested in the paid version. Because if I'm selling a launch course, I'm not going to create a freebie that is teaching someone how to grow on Instagram, right? That person who's downloading that freebie is not necessarily the person that's going to buy a launch course. So to me, if I can create a product or a freebie all around launching, that signals to me this person's interested in launching online. So when I had this idea of, promoting this online launch course called Online Launch School, I decided to create a pre-launch checklist. So it was this big Excel sheet, and in fact, I'll put the link below, so if you want to grab this checklist, totally free, you can grab it. It's this Excel spreadsheet where I thought about all the different things that you would need to list and go through if you want to launch successfully. Now, a big thing that comes up with people when they're hearing this is, wait, Natalie, I don't want to give away all my things for free. I'm going to have nothing to sell. I know this is often a big worry, and listen, you cannot give away every single thing you know in a simple freebie. Otherwise, you may be not an expert. I know that you have way more information in your mind than that. So I wasn't worried about giving away tons of information in this freebie because I really want to demonstrate to people, hey, look, listen, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to launches. So I put together this launch checklist, and what I did is I got this out to my audience. So I wasn't going to just launch Online Launch School to my audience when they'd not really heard about me doing anything around launches before. Listen, before that I talked about Instagram, building businesses. It was always very different. So I put this launch checklist out to my audience, and I asked who was interested, and if they were interested, they get to swipe up and download it. They put their email in. So not only did I share it organically on my social media, which is something you can do as well, I put it on paid ads. So you don't need an audience to put something on paid ads, and it generally doesn't cost a lot of money either. So I put together a custom audience on Facebook ads of people that I thought would be interested in this checklist. So I put it out on Facebook ads, I put it out on my social media, and I just got people to sign up if they were interested. Now, I started doing this, I think it was probably 6 to 8 weeks before I was ready to actually launch. So I put it out there, and then for 6 to 8 weeks, I was building a launch audience. So that's the first phase. You want to build a launch audience. You want to get people on your email list who are signaling to you, hey, I'm interested in whatever it is that I'm launching. So that's the first thing that I did. The second thing that I did is I thought really clearly about what my pre-launch content and my pre-launch plan was going to look. So your pre-launch is actually more important than your launch. Because if you haven't already watched this previous video, I'll link it here, where I talk about how you can build an audience of people who know, like, and trust you. This is where your pre-launch content comes in, right? You're really going to build yourself as the authority, as the expert. So what I was doing, I was sending out regular emails to my list, and I was posting regularly on social media about launching. So I was actually bringing people behind the scenes of my launches. I was sharing how much money I was making. I was sharing what I did. I was sharing tips, tricks, so that people were starting to think, okay, this girl knows a thing or two about launches. She's done this before. I was also sharing testimonials from some of my clients. So people that I've helped launch in business, I was sharing those testimonials so they could see it wasn't just me that was know how to launch my own business, but I was able to help other people do the same thing. So in my pre-launch phase, I was sharing tons of content. Now, I want to share with you like a ninja hack, right? You should be as prepared as possible for this phase and your launch phase, because when your launch is more stressful than successful, I can guarantee it's because you either have no audience to launch to or you haven't prepped your content. Now, I am not available for burnout. I am not available to be exhausted during my launch. I've been there. I've been on the brink of burnout so many times that I'm not willing to go back to that place. And so I made sure that I was so prepared ahead of time that during my pre-launch and my launch phases, I can wake up, my content is there, it's ready to go. And I'm talking Instagram stories, feed, email, you name it, I prepped it. So I had this 6 to 8 weeks where I was building a launch audience, and then I went into my pre-launch phase, which was just 2 weeks. Now, in the first week, I was sharing so much launch content, just sharing like crazy. And in the second week, I was pushing to a webinar. So if you have no idea what a webinar is, it's basically, a 60 to 90 minute online training where you give tons of value to your audience, like you're throwing value at them. And it's also a mini version of the thing that you're selling. And then at the very end, you sell to them. You say, if you enjoyed this, I think you'd love the course. Here's the course. You can buy into it if it's something aligned with you. So again, you're seeing a theme. I actually built a training specifically around the product I was launching, which was my online launch school. So I built the training around that. So I knew, okay, anyone that's signing up for this, they're really interested in launching. They're the right people. And I really qualified my audience. I was saying, this is for you if you're this kind of entrepreneur, if you have an audience of this size and you're looking to achieve this. This is something I did really, really well that I really recommend you do. And if you haven't already watched my previous videos where I talk about nailing your ideal client avatar, you're going to want to check that one out. So I put together this pre-launch campaign where, like I said, for a week I was really demonstrating my expertise, and then for another week I was pushing people to sign up for this live training. So think about the funnel that they're coming through. They came in top of funnel, downloading my pre-launch checklist. Then they got tons of content where I'm sharing about launches. Then they get an invite to a free training. Okay, so this was my building my audience phase and then my pre-launch phase. What was left was me to go into launch. So I was kicking off the first day of my launch by delivering my online training. So I had everyone signed up for my online training. And listen, I was so transparent about saying, hey, I am launching a product. It's going to be launched on this live training. So if you're interested in the product, come along. And if you're interested in just learning and just getting this value for free, come along as well. So people were really prepared and knew what to expect. And actually what I can do, I'll link below the exact webinar that I used to generate the $100,000 in 60 minutes. So if you want to look at it and see how I did it and dissect my strategy, it's there for you. So you'll see I did a launch, and I started the webinar. I delivered so much value, like so much value. And I went through my full launch framework of how to do this. And then at the very end, I started selling. Now, the minute I put that button up, the sales just came flooding in. And that's when we made that $100,000 in 60 minutes. It was so fast. The sales came flooding in. And while it looks like this, massive overnight success that just happened in an hour, obviously you're seeing all of the work that went into it behind the scenes. So hopefully you're starting to understand what that really, really looked like. And if you're wanting to apply it to your own business, I'm going to share with you a few of the things that you really need to make sure that you're going to do. Okay, so there's 3 things that I want to make sure that you really, really do if you want to replicate this strategy with your audience. Firstly, like I said, I want you to get exceptionally clear on who your ideal client avatar is. Who are you targeting? Who is your product for? I want you to firstly get really clear on that. The second thing is get clear on the exact transformation. Why should someone buy from you? Why should someone buy this product? What is it about this that makes them want to say, yes, here's my credit card? You need to know the exact transformation you're going to take people through. And if you don't know this, I really want you to go back to the drawing board, because chances are if you're putting your offer out there and you've got an audience and they're not buying, something with the messaging could be off here. And the third thing that I want you to do is start planning way ahead of time. So just pull out a big piece of paper and start to map what 2 months prior to your launch is going to look like. So really thinking through what your audience building phase is going to look like, what your pre-launch phase is going to look like, and what your launch phase is going to look like. Then get an Excel sheet and go through and list out every single piece of content you're going to need to make. Do you need to make videos for Facebook ads? Do you need to write emails? Do you need to build a webinar? Do you need to do Instagram story posts? Whatever it is, I want you to map out everything. So you've got a clear list of content so that you can go away and start creating that, and then just tick it off as you go. And then hopefully, say you're going to launch in 2 months' time, before going into that launch, you have everything. You're so prepared that it's an absolute breeze for you and you don't need to get stressed. Okay, so firstly, I really want you to subscribe to my channel. I am putting out new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe. Secondly, like I said, that free training that I'm talking about where I made $100,000 in 60 minutes, I've linked it below. Go check it out. Go dissect my entire strategy. I want you to win, so use that training to really, really do that. And then if you've got any questions about it, come back to this video and comment. I also want you to comment and let me know what you loved, what you want to see more of, and I will see you next week.
But don't lose your faith, keep it straight.